Good morning, all of you. Now, I am going to take phylum Ascomynthus. Phylum Ascomynthus. Okay, and phylum Ascomynthus, formerly called as Nematoda. Okay, formerly it called as Nematoda. Now we call as Ascomynthus. Okay, then it also called as roundworms. It also called as roundworms because the animal cross section look like a circular shape. The cross section of the animal looks circular. Okay, so the animals are called roundworms. Okay, then the general characters of Ascomynthus. First, the habit and habitat. So the nematodes or Ascomynthus are lives everywhere. Okay, lives everywhere. It consists around 15,000 species. The phylum, it consists of around 15,000 species. Okay, and they may be a free living or parasite. Free living or parasite. They may be a terrestrial or aquatic. Okay, maybe a free living or parasite, maybe a terrestrial or aquatic. Okay, and so most of them, are parasites are animal parasites. Okay, so mostly the parasites are lived in and animals as a endoparasite. For example, Ascaris and Wuchereria. So these two worms, okay, it lives in animal body as a endoparasite. Okay, so this is the common example of nematoda or Ascomynthus. Then, and these are basic characters. So basic characters of this Ascomynthus are, they are all triploblastic. Okay, 3 germ layers. They have 3 germ layers. Okay, then they are pseudocoelomate. Pseudocoelomates because they their body cavity not completely encircled with the mesodome. Okay, the body cavity completely circled, both inner and outer layer circled with the mesodome, aligned with the mesodome only. It called as true coelom. But in these animals, Ascomynthus, they have some of pouches. Okay, so not completely lined with the mesodome, so they called as pseudocoelomates. Okay, false coelom. It also called as false coelom. Pseudocoelom. Okay, then, and they are all triploblastic, 3 germ layers, and the symmetry, the body symmetry is bilateral symmetry. The body symmetry is bilateral symmetry. Okay, and no cephalization is taught here. These animals are not having a separate head and long tubular in structure. Both ends are tapering. Both the top and bottom ends are narrow and tapering, and body is round. Next, the level of organization. Okay, the level of organization is organ grade of organization, organ system grade of organization. They are organ system, organ system grade of organization. They have organ system on different functions like digestion, excretion, and respiration, like their reproduction. So there is some system present in this animal for particular function. So they called as organ system grade of organization. Okay, and the body don't have their body. They don't have skeleton, absence of skeleton, but the body cavity is filled with fluid, so they act as a hydroskeleton to maintain the body. It has the body cavity filled with some of fluid. It acts as a hydroskeleton. Hydroskeleton. It maintain their body, maintain the shape of body. Okay, and the outer body is covered by a thick layer is called cuticle. The outer layer. Okay, so the outer layer is covered with the cuticle, outer non-living layer. It's a non-living layer. It called as cuticle. It covered the body. Okay, and the digestive system. The digestive system of animal is complete digestive system, and the digestive system is complete. Okay, because they have mouth, pharynx, muscular pharynx, intestine, and anus. So they call as complete. Okay, because they have mouth and also anus, two openings. So it called as complete digestive system, and mouth and pharynx are well developed. Well developed. Well developed mouth and also muscular pharynx. Muscular pharynx. The respiration through body surface by diffusion method, and excretion. Excretion, they have H-shaped canal. Okay, and it collect the waste product to eliminate from the body, and it's made up of rennet cells. It's made up of rennet cells. It's an important one mark also. Okay, Ascalmindes have rennet cells. Okay, they have complete digestive system. These are all maybe asked as a one mark question. An excretion is done by rennet cells or rennet glands are present in these animals. Okay, and reproduction. These animals are dioecious. Okay, unisexual. These animals are unisexual. Unisexual or dioecious. Dioecious. They are sexes separate, so it called as unisexual. Male and female. There is a difference. There is a difference between male and female. Sexual dimorphism it shows. Okay, and mostly females are longer than males. When you are looking to Ascaris, in your textbook you have an image of Ascaris. When you are seeing the picture, and females are larger than males or longer than males. Okay, and okay, that internal fertilization is internal fertilization, and development is direct or indirect. Some animals have direct development, some animals are indirect development. Fertilization was internal, that only development is sexual development. You have sexual reproduction. Okay, they show sexual dimorphism, sexual reproduction, internal fertilization, direct and as well as indirect development also present in these animals. Okay, and examples, the examples of these organisms are Ascaris. Ascaris is one of the well-known example of Ascalminthus, and Wuchereria. Wuchereria bancrofti. Okay, Wuchereria bancrofti. It's one of the another one example, well-known example. It causes filariasis. It causes filariasis or elephantiasis. Okay, யானைக்கால் அப்படின்னு சொல்ற elephantiasis. It causes by Wuchereria. It was transmitted by Culex mosquito. Okay, and so the filariasis, the such kind of information is some informations are given into a textbook regarding filariasis, because the filariasis is the second major public problem in our India, next to the malaria. So malaria is the first major problem in our India, and next to the malaria, filariasis is the second major problem. Okay, and the filariasis was reported in our India in before BC, before AD, in 16th, okay, 6th AD, the Indian Sustra in the Indian and well-known physician Sustra, he reported the first case of elephantiasis or filariasis in his book Sustra Samhita. In his book Sustra Samhita. Okay, and 6th AD, and next in 7th century, okay, 7th century BC, sorry, 6th BC and 7th century AD, and another one Indian physician, okay, Madhavakara, he also one of the famous physician. He also write their symptoms, okay, symptoms of elephantiasis, and also from treatise. Okay, அதாவது குணமானவங்கள்ட்ட இருந்தும் அது அஃபெக்ட் ஆனவங்கள்ட்ட இருந்து சிம்டம்ஸ், அதோடைய நேச்சர், அந்த டிசீஸை பற்றியான டிஸ்கிரிப்ஷனை கொடுத்தது யார் அப்படின்னா மாதவக்கரா. அண்ட் ஆல்சோ ஹி ரைட் எ புக் Madhava Nidana. Okay, still this book was used. The information was used, okay, to treat the elephantiasis. Okay, and after 17th century, in 1709, okay, 1709, and the first elephantiasis case was observed in Cochin. Okay, the elephantiasis are elephant-legged person was identified in Cochin, and in 1872, that microfilaria, okay, microfilaria was observed, okay, from that body cavity, okay, in 1872 or 1709, the first case was observed in Kochi, and in 1872 it was extracted, microfilaria was extracted from that blood, okay, in Calcutta. Now it called as Kolkata. Okay, so this is some important information regarding filariasis. Okay, thank you.